but you become my eyes to see, the strength to climb, my grief to bear. The Spirit lives inside me there. In your love I find release, a haven from my unbelief. Take my hand and let me be a living prayer, my God, to thee. In these trials of life I find another voice inside my mind. You comfort me and bid me life inside the love the Spirit gives. In your arms I find release, a haven from my unbelief. Take my heart and let me be a living prayer, my God, to thee. Take my life and let me be a living prayer, my God, to thee. Patty Barkus.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity on the River. Just take that energy, that living prayer energy, take that down and center it into your heart space. Open your mind, open your heart. Be ready to be transformed with our service this morning. If you're comfortable doing so, let's stand and take one another's hand as we begin with our opening hymn this morning, Surely the Presence. Sweet Spirit, we take that energy, affirming, surely the presence is here, in, through, among, and as us. We open our hearts and minds this morning, dear God. We are ready for this new year. We are ready to receive this message today. We are ready to be of service to you. God, if there's anything that anyone has brought here this morning that might get in the way of your good work through this service, through the meditation, the music, the message, anything that might encumber us, any burden, any worry, any fear, any concern, any sense of lack, we just lay it down. We cast our burdens upon the Lord and know that we are free. And as we do so, we open our hearts and minds, looking forward into this new day, living our lives with intention, living our lives to the highest essence, the highest good, being our God's self on earth. And as we do so, we open our lives, we open our hearts. In fact, we bring forth to the world the very best of God, the very best of life, and the very best of everything. Thank you, God, and so it is. Amen.
There's a new territory that I never saw before, like a fire of transformation breaking through my core, singing through the darkness. I can hear and see the light of day in this new territory, new territory. It's my place, it is my way. And I pray that you see the best of life, the best of love, the very best of everything. And I wake up and see the best of life, the best of love, the very best of everything. And I say, let go, and see the best of life, the best of love, the very best of everything. And I say yes, and see the best of life, the best of love, the very best of everything. And I say forgive, and see the best of life, the best of love, the very best of everything. Well, it's a new territory that I never saw before, like a fire transformation coming through my core. See through the darkness, I can feel the ocean roar in this new territory, new territory, new territory.
Thank you, Lord.
Patty Marcus.
Fabulous. Happy New Year! Woo, 2014. How did that happen? Turn to your partner, turn to somebody next to you and say, it's going to be a great year! Yeah, it's going to be a great year for you. It's going to be a great year for me. It's going to be a great year for Unity on the River. I am so excited. So welcome to Unity on the River. We are a center of transformation, inspiration, spirit-centeredness, oneness, and joy. And I welcome you here today. Let's begin by saying our mission and vision statement together. Whoops. Do I want to say something about this? I was going to do that next, but if that slides up, I can do it. So our theme for 2014 this year is connecting with our inner guidance, enhancing our personal relationship with the Christ within. At Unity on the River, we establish a theme for every year that we then move through, study, and live into for this year. And this year is our year of connecting with our inner guide or our inner guidance, enhancing our personal relationship with the Christ within. It's got a lovely feel to it, doesn't it? Our mission statement: we are a vibrant spiritual community that celebrates the presence in all and awakens humanity to its divinity. And our vision: centered in love, we joyously co-create a world of oneness, peace, and harmony. That is who we are. My name is Jackie Woodside. I'll be your celebrant today. Our minister, the Reverend Shipley Allenson, is taking a well-deserved day off today after doing, I think, 6 services over the past couple of weeks over the holidays. So I think for the last 4 or 5 years, I've had the blessed opportunity to lead the first service of the year, which I really love doing, to welcome in the new year and to get us started at Unity on the River. And today, what we're going to be looking at is the difference between setting an intention, which is something that we teach in the Unity movement, versus living your life with intention, which is a little deeper cut at it, isn't it? It's kind of easy to set an intention, and then it takes something. It's where the rubber meets the road, to create yourself, to invent yourself as a person who's living your life with intention. So that's what we're going to be talking about a little bit later on today. So before we begin, Carol, do you have some announcements this morning? Actually, let me welcome new people as you're coming on up. So is anyone celebrating with us for the first time today? Has come to our center? Great, welcome. Gosh, a whole bunch of you. Welcome to Unity on the River. So just, if you would, keep your hands up, and the ushers are going to bring you a flower, and someone from our welcome team will greet you after church and, try not to love up on you too much. They'll just say hello and, do you have any questions? And I think there's an information packet about our church that you'll receive afterwards. So thank you for being here with us. Your presence enhances us greatly. Please know that we welcome all paths to God, and we're happy to celebrate services with you today. Great, so thank you. And Carol? Great, thanks.
I stand in the presence. Well, we have a lot of excitement here. This is a happening place, 2014. Before I share the announcements with you, please know that you're welcome to join us in hospitality after the service. And you'll notice there's a huge bulletin board in there, and on it are all of our offerings, events and workshops and classes. There are sign-ups. So, take a look when you're out there. Well, today, I know that Jackie Woodside, where'd she go? She's right behind me. She is going to offer a workshop here, the 10 Steps to Living Life by Design. And that's from 12:15 to 2:15. And it'll be right here in the sanctuary for this particular workshop. You don't have to sign up, just show up. And I'm hoping you'll tell us a little more, Jackie, about the workshop.
All right, I will if you want me to.
Okay.
Now? Sure. Oh, now. Oh, she means now. So, hey, Steve, how's that bad neighborhood of your brain doing over there? Yeah, good. I'm visiting his neighborhood. There we go. Okay, so as I said earlier, I'm going to be speaking today in the service on the difference between setting an intention and living your life with intention. And honestly, that's what my whole career is about, is the difference between kind of having a nice thought about something, and I'm going to go out and do this, and creating yourself as a person who fulfills living that way. And there's a huge difference. So given that it's a huge topic, and they only give me 20 minutes to do this talk at church, I didn't want to keep you all here till dinner time. So I just tagged on a couple more hours at the end of the at the end of the service today to do a workshop on that same topic. So I'm going to touch on some points today about living with intention. And if you're really into this, particularly as you're coming into the new year, I'll be speaking on about 10 other principles that you can immediately put in your life, literally walking out of the workshop today. and begin elevating the way that you're experiencing life and what you're bringing to life through living life with intention rather than merely setting intentions. So come hang out with me this afternoon. The Pats are off this week. Why not spend some time with me? It's not so bad. All right. Thank you, Carol.
Thanks. Okay, we also, you'll notice our Christmas decorations are still up. So we're having a Christmas undecorating. Bill Free, he's chaplaining today. He's over in the back. He's the director of Sacred Services. He would like to meet here next Saturday, January 11th, between 9 and noon to undecorate. If that doesn't work for you, he's really open to sometime during the week if you'd like to help. And again, out on the bulletin board, there is a sign up where you can see Bill after service. And I'm going to call Amy down to talk to us about the virtual SEE class.
Last time I ran down here like I was on The Price of Right, I was so winded. So I thought today I'll slide on down and be ready. Good morning, I stand in the presence.
Namaste.
Well, it's my honor and privilege to announce that we do have our next virtual SEE class starting actually this coming Saturday. So I do ask if people can sign up today. It's really important that you do so I can get the syllabus to you, and we do have the books in the bookstore. It's going to be Metaphysics 1, Part 1, which is a fundamental unity class. This is the basics of unity along with the Life of Prayer class that Chippy will be teaching. It goes into unity's metaphysical interpretation of the different levels of consciousness. We really do believe that as we raise our awareness, we raise our consciousness, and not only do we affect our own lives, but the life of everyone around us. I'm hoping everyone will join me. It is a class 4 credit. Ogun Holder, who is teaching the class, is an ordained unity minister. He is the author of Ransom Revelations, and he's actually spoken here before. We have a really great treat in that he'll be here live with us in person for the first Saturday and virtual the second class. Please come and see me if you have any questions about it. The cost of class is $120 plus a registration fee of $45 if you're taking it for credit. So come see me if you have any questions.
Amy? Just want to mention the books are in the bookstore.
Yeah, the books are in the bookstore. It's Heart-Centered Metaphysics by Paul Hasselbeck. And there's also a workbook by the same name, which isn't required by Ogun, but it is recommended, and you will need it if you're going to.
Thanks, Amy. And Reverend Shipley is also going to offer a Life of Prayer class. We just got the books in. I think they're beautiful. This is from Unity School of Christianity. This is the love of Shipley's life. And if you take this class, I think you'll find that Shipley is going to share her many years here. You know she's retiring in May, but it's her many years of wisdom and spiritual insight that she's gained through her life of prayer. Again, there is, in your flyer, there's more detail. If you're taking this for SEE credit, it has gone up from $36 to $45, but anybody can take this class. It's very different from the last class that she offered, but I think you'll love it. Now, orientation and new member talk. You'll see those up there, but they're very different. Bill Free is going to offer an orientation. That's for people who may have been coming a while or once in a while, and you really want to learn more about unity and also this center. It's a PowerPoint presentation, and it will be offered on January 19th in the wing room, and it's only an hour. Then there's the new member talk. Reverend Shipley would like to meet with any of you who are interested in becoming members here at Unity. So she will go over the covenant, and she'll go over the application and answer any of your questions that you might have. It's just an opportunity to devote yourself to a closer walk with Spirit. Then you'll see there's a celebration. So after we know who's interested in becoming new members, we have a celebration during service. That will be on the 26th here in the sanctuary. Now, if you can't be at Shipley's meeting, you can just see me, and I have applications and information for you. We're almost done. Annual meeting, Sunday, February 2nd. There'll be a potluck following the service, and then the meeting itself is from 12:30 to 3. I know we'll be having election of new board members, and we'll also be talking about the budget. And I'm sure there'll be much more added to that in time. And our new arrival, it's another class. This is also out on the bulletin board. It's Prosperity 2, Harnessing Your Invisible Power. This is another Mary Morrissey offering, and it's kind of another step in her prosperity program. So if you've taken the first Prosperity Plus, you're welcome to sign up. I think it's an opportunity to grow your abundance and your love, and also it's open to newcomers as well. And that's every Tuesday. Bill Free and Lisa Natoli will be teaching this, and it's from 7 to 9 Tuesday evenings. And I believe that's it. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Carol. Wow, there's so much going on at this place. And look around this morning. This place is packed. Yeah, I love that. So it's lovely to see all of you. And since I've had the opportunity to greet you, you should have the opportunity to greet one another. In this congregation, we greet one another by saying the blessing of Namaste, which means the divine in me greets and recognizes the divine in you. So I greet you this morning. Feel free to greet one another with a handshake or a hug. For you people who are new people, we'll try not to love up on you all that much. Welcome today, and I greet you. Namaste.
into your presence, guiding me by your Holy Spirit. Teach me, dear Lord, to live all of my life through your eyes. I'm captured by your holy calling. Set me apart. I know you're drawing me to yourself. Lead me, Lord, I pray. Take me, mold me, use me, fill me. I give my life to the potter's hand. Oh yeah, hold me, guide me, lead me, walk beside me. I give my life to the potter's hand. Give my life to you. I'm inspired.
Wow. I don't want to follow that. Can I just be like what she said and then go sit down? What do you think? Wow. Yeah, right? Thank you. Really, so just incredibly talented and lovely. So something happened to me this fall that was really quite remarkable that I wanted to open with today. It was like a Thursday morning, unlike any other morning of the week. I had gotten up early, got my son off to school, dropped him off, went to the gym, played a couple hours of racquetball, hour and a half. On a good day, it's 2 hours. It was an hour and a half of racquetball. Come home, took a shower, and kind of needed to keep moving. I wasn't really in a rush, but had to keep moving to get everything done, and headed out to my office. And I was driving over to my office in a car that I'm not particularly fond of. And I know that's a family joke. And it didn't get that. I drive a Prius now. Yeah. I drive a Prius. I used to drive a BMW. Sorry. Where's the love? So I'm driving over to my office in a car that I'm not particularly fond of. I still haven't found the holes where I can put my feet through to make it actually go like a car's supposed to go. That's a story for another day. So I'm on my way to my office, and I lost my train of thought thinking about that car. On the way, I was in a car I'm not particularly fond of, with nothing on the radio, and nothing really up that day. I wasn't doing a talk, giving a training, meeting some fabulous friend for lunch. It was just like a regular day. And I'm sitting at a stoplight, and the sun is coming through, and it's kind of, you know how that feels, it's kind of a chilly day, but the sun is coming through, and it warms you. And I noticed something. There was this feeling in me that was kind of coming up that was similar to the sun warming me. So there's this warming happening over here, and then there's this warming happening coming up through me, and I was like, what is that feeling? Is it my soul? And it didn't take me long, and I figured out, I was just happy. I was just happy. For no freaking reason. Now, if it was the Prius, all right, thanks. Thank you. God and the polar bears, thank you for that. I'm still working on it. Transformation's happening for all of us. Right, so I was like, so for those of you who live your lives in the happiness zone, you're like, so what's the story? Right? And then there's the rest of us who have a tendency perhaps toward melancholy. And you know, it's so funny because people see me up here doing what I love and they take my classes and I'm an empowerment coach and I'm a spiritual teacher. So people don't recognize that people who do this can actually feel like that most of the time. Right? This is really like my happy making space. I love doing this. It's doing what I was born to do. There's some really fascinating research out there about happiness. And there's one researcher out of UCal Riverside, Dr. Sonia, I think Limbermisky or something like that. I'm sorry that I'm butchering her last name. But she teaches that there's something called a happiness set point. Isn't that cool? Except that the happiness set point is 50% determined by what you came in with. 50% determined by what you were born with. 40% determined by what you make of your circumstances. What you make of your circumstances. And only 10% of happiness is actually determined by your circumstances. Isn't that interesting? Because most of us do what? We like chase this carrot. Like, if I have this, then I'll be happy. If I do that, then I'll be happy. Once I accomplish this, then I'll be happy. And the research has proven, and you probably have already figured it out in your own life, that's not true. In fact, half of what your happiness set point is, you just came in with. 40% of it is your level of consciousness, how you relate to your circumstances, and only 10% by your circumstances. Isn't that fascinating? Rudolf Steiner, the founder of the Waldorf education movement, had a similar teaching. He teaches that there are 4 distinct emotional temperaments that we come into life with. And one of those 4 he describes as melancholic. It's the one I inherited. So I have a tendency toward melancholy, kind of my set point. So one could think like that would really be an occupational hazard for someone who is a spiritual teacher and empowerment coach. Right? And yet, what I found is that it actually has been my blessing. It actually has been my blessing, and I'll tell you how. Thanks for asking. We're doing a sing-along today, a talk-back. You guys are great. So how is that, it's really interesting, but I've always had this sense that there's something beyond the melancholy that I kind of came in with. This sense of the transcendent. I've always had this sense that my connection with God and my spiritual skills and my spiritual development would be my path out of the melancholic existence that I came in with. So rather than give myself up to a life of melancholy, which I considered for a while in my 20s and 30s, I've actually created my whole life, what did I say? I create my life as a living prayer. And it is through that process of learning, having to learn, if you will, having to learn how to live my life with intention rather than setting an intention that has really saved me in my life. That sounds a little dramatic, but you get the point, right? So I know a lot about living life with intention. I talk about making your life a living prayer. Having not just your spiritual life and your prayer life be something that you go over here and do, but that your spiritual life be something that you live all the time, everywhere, with no exception. So there's 3 ways that I want to talk about today in this whole notion of creating your life with intention. And those 3 things are this. First is taking responsibility. Second, taking action. And third, following your inner guidance, which is our theme for this year, 2014. So taking responsibility, taking action, and following your inner guidance. Okay? So the first one, taking responsibility. What I've found, and this is a very high consciousness principle, is that in order to transcend any circumstance in your life, you've got to be 100% responsible for the way your life is and the way your life isn't. Such a drag, isn't it? I like it so much better when I can blame someone over there. It just doesn't work that way. So that's kind of where you have to begin, is that you've got to be 100% responsible for the way that your life looks and the way that it doesn't look. And what that means is you no longer have a pass to say that you don't know what your life purpose is, because you are on the spiritual walk. And your life purpose is to grow in consciousness back to the divinity from which you came. You don't have a pass when you take responsibility for living your life this way to say, well, I just don't know. Well, make it up. It's your life. It matters. One of my favorite spiritual teachers, Dr. David Hawkins, the late Dr. David Hawkins, who taught out of Sedona, Arizona, he teaches, and many other teachers, but he's just one that I follow, teach these different levels of consciousness. And the melancholic emotional realm is in the lower levels of consciousness, right? You can feel that. What's the energy of melancholy? It's kind of heavy and tired, and right? There's not a lot of energy to it. Some apathy with it. And then he says, as you move up into the higher realms of consciousness, you get into the consciousness level where he calls neutrality. The consciousness of neutrality, which is kind of like the cosmic demilitarized zone, where you're not really stressed and in angst or upset and worry, like the lower levels of consciousness, you're not there. You're actually like fine. However, you're also not living in the higher levels of consciousness, like joy and peace and bliss and unconditional love. Do you get that? So in my spiritual walk, it's really been a blessing to me. I honestly have shifted from a person who kind of walks around melancholic to a person that walks around fairly content. I've used my spiritual tools to get myself to the point where I can really recognize I have a great life. Really have a great life. Really have a great life. And it's not just an intellectual knowing. I'm happy. However, I don't know bliss. Like, what is that anyway? And the consciousness teachers all say that at the higher levels of consciousness, you live in unconditional joy. Joy no matter what. It's like, dude, who lives that way? I just don't know. However, because my first principle is that you've got to be 100% responsible for the way that your life is, this year, in 2014, the question I'm living into is, where's my bliss? Where's my bliss, man? I know contentment much better than melancholy. I'm even happy most of the time. But this whole thing of joy and bliss is a mystery to me. And in order for me to move forward as a consciousness teacher and someone who teaches that you can transcend anything in your life through spiritual principles, I have to be responsible to learn the level of joy and bliss. Anybody want to join me? Yeah. It's a great thing to take on. You see, setting an intention is easy. It's just you kind of get in mind what it is that you'd like to focus on, and you begin bringing that towards you. What you hold in mind produces after its kind. We all know how to do that. Living with intention means that you create the energetic conditions for all of your dreams to come true. And creating the energetic conditions occurs in consciousness. It is a spiritual tool of great importance, because it is what makes our lives holy. Living with intention is what makes our lives holy. So number one, being responsible, right? So everyone can take that on with me. Look for yourself. My thing was melancholy that I needed to transcend. I got to the demilitarized zone of neutral consciousness, where I am most often like just cool and stuff doesn't bother me. And I even am happy a good portion of the time. Like, I've really transcended melancholy into neutral. But I'm going for bliss, man. I'm going for bliss. So you've got to look to see, like, what's yours? And where do you need to transcend to the next higher level of consciousness? Okay, that's number one. Cool? With me? Good, good, good. Number two is taking action. Taking action. I want to read a Bible verse for you from James chapter 2, 20 through 23. I just think this is so great. But do you know, O foolish one? It's always a good start, right? But do you know, O foolish one? It's like, oh, they're speaking to me. I need to pay attention. That faith without works is dead. James chapter 2, verse 20. But do you know, O foolish one, that faith without works is dead? Was not Abraham justified by works when he offered Isaac, his son, on the altar? Think about that, right? Offering your child up to God. And then listen to this, my favorite verse. Do you see that faith was working together with his works, and by works, faith was made perfect? This is so key. You can have faith, but if you don't couple that with action, they use the word works. In biblical times, we now say taking action. If your faith is not combined with the action in your life, your faith is dead. Faith without works is dead. So you've got to be willing to be responsible for the way your life looks and then take action around it. So like I said earlier, when you recognize that these are spiritual truths, you no longer have a pass to say, I just don't know, or I can't grow in that way any longer. You've got to be willing to be responsible and then take action. So I was working with a coaching client of mine not long ago, back in the fall, and she'd been telling me for quite some time, I just don't know what my purpose is, and if I knew, I'd be happier. And anybody else ever been in that place? And I kept working with, your purpose, hon, is to grow in consciousness, that no matter what's coming at you, you begin to transcend it at higher and higher levels. Rather than meeting things with difficulty and strife, you meet them with acceptance. And she was going on about her husband, that her husband was just not as attentive and not as caring as she wanted to be, and he seemed to be all about his job and all about the kids, and he'd come home and didn't really pay much attention to her. And so I just stopped her, I just interrupted and said, this is your purpose. She's like, huh? This is your purpose, to be able to meet this relationship with higher and higher levels of consciousness. So I taught her some spiritual principles, loving kindness meditation. Hold your husband in meditation every day, saying, may you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you know love, may you be filled with joy and peace. May I be happy, may I be peaceful, may I be filled with joy and peace. May our marriage be happy, may our marriage be peaceful, may our marriage be filled with joy and peace. Doing that meditation over and over, saying to herself, I accept my husband just the way he is and just the way he's not. The work is not changing the person over there. That is not being responsible, that's being a nag. The work is changing what's over here. How I am relating to the fact that my husband is this way is the issue. I tell my coaching clients and my students in my programs all the time, if there's an issue in your life that you're not okay with, you have two choices. Change the circumstance or change your consciousness. That's it. So I said to her, are you going to get a divorce? Oh no, I love my husband. We have a great life. Good. Change yourself. Change your consciousness. Accept that this is the way that it is. And find ways to love yourself rather than looking to him to give you what you don't already have. And you know what? She got it. She got it. She not only got it and started applying it in that relationship, she noticed, as is often the case, she had that way of being in lots of places. Complaining that the job wasn't really fulfilling her needs, and her mother wasn't really fulfilling it right. So there was all of these places. Once you start noticing that you have this major complaint, you'll notice it starts showing up in lots of places. And as I often say, the common denominator here is you. Right? So the work is shifting in consciousness, taking action. So what did she do? She changed her thinking, she used spiritual tools, she changed spiritual practices, and she approached him in a very loving manner, rather than this resigned, kind of pissy, you know how that is, right? And within a few weeks, the relationship started to change. No therapy, nobody wanted to go and talk about it, right? It just started to change. What needs to alter is not what's happening out here. What needs to alter is what's happening in here. I'll give you an example of this from my own life. About a month ago, I went away to do a spiritual retreat by myself, a solo, silent spiritual retreat, because I started doing full-time spiritual teaching about 3 or 4 years ago, and my 3-year vision was complete. I had fulfilled most of it, and the 3-year time frame was up, and it was time for me to do that again. So I was like, great, I'll go away. It was great. Went to this beautiful spiritual retreat center in Cohasset, right on the ocean. Fabulous place. And so I'm like all ready. I'm like sitting oceanside, it's just fabulous, and I'm all ready to, write my new vision. I was really excited about it. Like nothing. Like I'm good at this. I teach it for a living. Nothing. So I thought, okay, this is really interesting. Maybe I'm not on the right path or something. And my inner guidance said, rather than struggling with it, why don't you write about what's in the way? Oh yeah, brilliant. So so why I don't want to write a new vision? Oh my gosh. There was like this cosmic download of all of these complaints and whininess that I had about my career. Don't tell anybody, it's really bad for my career. It's just really bad for my career. No, really, don't tell anybody. So it was like, oh my gosh, this is so hard, and my work doesn't make a difference, and I don't feel like I'm really successful, and I work too many hours, and this has just been so hard, and this has been so hard. And then blah, 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 blah. I wrote for about a page and a half, and then I got complete. I didn't have anything else to say, and my inner guidance said, and what's been so hard about that? And the only answer was how I feel about it. What my consciousness was around it. There was no like, oh, I went bankrupt and I lost my house because I put up $100,000 for my new business and it didn't go well. Or no, like, oh, my spouse walked out on me because it's just like, I can't take this any longer, and this is just too difficult. There was none of that. There was nothing. In fact, most people look at my career and say, wow, you're really successful. And I love what I do, by the way. What needed to change was not I'm on the wrong path. What needed to change was my relationship with it. Because here's the thing that I really want you to get. When you take action from your ego, like I got to get this done and I got to earn a living and am I going to be successful and is God going to use me in the right way and all of that angsty place, what you get is suffering. When you take action from a place that when your works are combined with your faith, you are acting from your essence. You're acting from your bliss. You're acting from your bliss. So I really got it. That if I can divorce my work, what I do, from earning a living or being, quote, successful, whatever that means for me on any given hour, and I can just be with being my God self on earth, delivering my mission day by day, man, I got the keys to the kingdom. It's great. I'm really happy. I might even be getting up in that bliss range. But you've got to divorce your action from what your ego thinks you should be doing. And so I was able to recreate my 3-year vision. And it was fun, and it was joyful, and it was light. And in fact, I can't tell you, it was so powerful. That week, I must have gotten 5 or 6 different emails from students of mine telling me what a difference my work makes in their life. Now, I'm sure I've gotten those over the years, but I could never hear them. Like, yeah, they're just being nice, right? How many of you do that? You can't really take it in. And I just wanted to share one with you because I want to remind myself of what God is teaching me. So someone wrote to me this week, I feel so blessed by you crossing my path. I've learned so much from your classes. My dreams are coming true and evolving. My heart is full of excitement, looking forward to 2014 to apply all that I've learned. I feel so blessed, full of joy and hope. Notice that, joy. I'm bringing joy to others, right? And it's when I get in touch with that joy within that I'm able to actually be present to that. You have been a major inspiration. Thank you. Thank you. Isn't that beautiful? And I promise you, when I was taking action, divorced from my faith, taking action from the place of ego and drivenness, and I got to get it all done, blah, 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 blah. I could not have heard it. It would have been like, oh, yeah. And now I'm like, wow, someone really took the time out of their day to let me know I made a difference to them. That's beautiful. What changed? The only thing that changed was my consciousness. That's it. When you change your consciousness, everything changes. And it's a lot of work. Rerouting all those neural pathways up there and the way that you've always come to be and the way you see the world. Be careful not to believe everything you think. Number 3, following your inner guidance toward your bliss. Following your inner guidance towards your bliss. So I told you the story about me writing my vision and being all blocked, and what helped me move through it was my inner guidance. And inner guidance really is listening within, being able for even brief periods of time to close out the outer walls to focus in on your inner messages. There's a lot of noise out there. Have you noticed? There's a lot of noise out there, a lot of this, you should do this, you should do that, you should join this club, and you should take this class, and you should do this, and you should do that. There's just a lot of noise out there. In fact, over the last month, I have had repeated experiences of people telling me things that I should do. And one of them is here. Like about 3 or 4 times a week, people say to me very lovingly and assumingly, so Jackie, you're going to take over after Shipley retires, right? Like, no. But I was hearing it so often that I started thinking, am I missing something? Am I missing something? Until I went to a New Year's Eve party with a bunch of my deaf friends, and I used to work in the deaf community before I became a teacher, and there was a problem at the school for the deaf. And what did they all say? Oh, Jackie, you should go take that job, because you'd be like great at it. You could like just solve all of that and it'd be great. Okay, good. And then I was at basketball practice with my basketball friends, and one of my gal's daughter's high school team needed a coach. And they were like, oh, Jackie, you'd be great at that. You know the game really well, and you love basketball, and you're great with kids. You should go do that. I'm seeing a pattern here, right? So when you are connected with spirit, you have the opportunity to drown out all of the noise and just focus on your path, your guidance, your steps forward. We're going to do that in our meditation today, actually. Today is the Letter to God Sunday at Unity. So for those of you who are new to Unity in the last year, you've not gone through this experience before. The Letter to God meditation is the opportunity for you at the beginning of the year to go within, seeking that inner guidance and asking God's guidance and direction. How would you like to express through and as me in 2014? How would you like to see me coming from essence rather than ego, blending my works with my actions with my faith, and moving into this year? How would you like to express through and as me? And we actually do this by writing a letter. Is it in your programs? Do you have a piece of paper? And no. 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 Okay. Carol? So if you don't, then we will either figure it out or we will do it in meditation. You could think about writing a letter. Yeah, that's right. And what? And write it next week. No, we can get it. So Carol, yep, you're on it. All right, good. So how we do this in the Unity movement is we actually write a letter to God, asking the question in the silence, how do you want to express through and as me this year? There is no other way of living your life with intention without connecting within. Did you get that? There is no other way to live your life with intention without connecting within. For many of us who are kind of high consciousness, high vibration, high interest people, I have more ideas in a week than I could fulfill in a lifetime. Do you get that? How many of you are like that? You have more ideas in a week than you could fulfill in a lifetime, right? So there's, I could do this, and I could do this, and I could do this, and I could do this. And you're either A, going to make yourself crazy, or B, go right back to melancholy because you can't do it all. Right? Or you connect deeply with your inner guidance, determining your purpose of what you were here to do, which is to grow in consciousness, elevate from the lower levels to the neutral levels to the higher levels, so that everything around you changes. But while you're doing that, you've got to do stuff in the world, right? I think the ones who live their lives in the monastery actually have it easy. Of course, that whole getting up at 4 a.m. thing I'm not so sure about. Right? But they don't have to interact with the world. Carolyn Mace, a spiritual teacher, says that today the mystics are without monasteries. Today, the mystics are without monasteries, and who those mystics are is you. People who are committed to living a spiritual life, committed to the greater good, and committed to your own happiness, understanding that your happiness gets fulfilled through your expression of your purposeness and consciousness and living your life with intention. I'm sorry? Oh yeah, so if you need paper, if you haven't gotten it yet, just raise your hands. And for those of you who are live streaming today, we do live stream our services here at church, unityontheriver.org. For those of you who are live streaming, you can take this moment to grab a piece of paper as well and be able to live stream this. So go ahead and get your whatnots ready.
We're in the center of the universe.
So once you've gotten the supplies that you need, if you need a pen, hey Steve, there's a few people here that need pens. Once you've gotten the supplies that you need, just kind of be centered and be back in this space. Does everyone have what you need? I don't want you to start yet. We're actually going to lead in with a meditation and a chant before we begin this activity. All right, so just center yourselves back again. You've got what you need. So again, how we do this is that I will lead you in. We're going to have some music. We'll lead in with a chant. I will lead you in with just a couple of moments of direction, guided meditation, and then you'll have the opportunity to write this. All right. Thank you, everyone that got up to help get that handled. Kirsten, Steve, Karen, thank you. Amy. Yeah.
Say the New Year mission again, please.
Sure. Connecting with your inner guidance, developing your relationship, your personal relationship with the Christ within. All right, so again, just to recap, the 3 ways that we've been focusing on this morning of living your life with intention. Number 1, take what? Responsibility. Take responsibility. Number 2, take action. And number 3, we're about to engage in Follow your inner guidance. Follow your inner guidance to the expression of your highest self on earth. Follow your inner guidance to the expression of your bliss. So we're going to begin with some music and a chant.
I am a radiant light of God. I shine my light of love. I am a radiant light of God. I shine my light of love. I am a radiant light of God. I shine my light of love. When I stumble, I live by the light of my faith, shining both night and day, shining both night and day. I am a radiant light of God. I shine my light of love. I am a radiant light of God. I shine my light of love.
Just take that light of love that burns deep within you and center yourselves now for a moment of preparing to write your letter to God. Take a deep breath and center yourself and release. Any notions that you might have coming into this meditation exercise, I invite you to just release them up into the ethers where the angels and the saints can take them away, so that you'll be free and unencumbered by any thoughts of the ego, any messages that you might think that you might receive. You release that and open your heart and mind to the goodness and the message and the clarity from your highest self, your Christ self within. This year at Unity on the River, we are engaged in an inquiry in following our divine guidance, deepening our relationship with the Christ within. And this will be the first opportunity this year that we have to go deeply into our Christed essence, closing our outer ears and opening our inner ears for the guidance from God. So I ask you to just open your heart to the question, God, how would you like to express through and as me in this year 2014? With the knowing that God can only do for you what God can do through you and as you. God can only do for you through the level of consciousness that you grow to, expressing your divinity, being your God self on earth. Breathe into that knowing and release. And I invite you now in the silence to begin listening with your inner ears to your divine guidance from the Christ within. God, how would you like to express through and as me in this year, 2014? You may begin writing when you're ready. As you finish up your letter, if you take the envelope that you were given and write your name and your address on it, the church will send it to you in November of next year, and you'll receive a reminder of how your 2014 has unfolded. So put your name on the envelope, your address on the envelope, and it will be sent to you at the end of the year. Let's just breathe in with gratitude and thanksgiving for the messages that have been received. Some of you are still hearing God's voice within. Feel free to continue writing until you're complete. As we celebrate, knowing that we are the light of God expressing this year and always.
When I see your face, I see God's light guiding you on your way, guiding you on your way. I am the radiant light of God. Shine my light of love. Let's shine for peace. I am the radiant light of God. I shine my light of peace. Let's do joy for Jackie. I am the radiant light of God. I shine my light. Joy again, here we go. I am the radiant light of God. I shine my light of joy.
If there's anyone that you would like to hold in prayer at this time, bringing their energy into the energy of this loving space. If there's anyone that you want to bring your blessings upon, let's just go ahead and say their names together out loud. The blessings of the prayer box being brought forth. For those of you who are new here, we have a prayer box in the back of the chapel, and at any point that you want to just write your prayers and put them in this prayer box, they're held in confidence and prayed over by the chaplains here at Unity on the River and sent to Silent Unity as well. God, we receive these prayers. We know that they do not go unanswered, that all of us are having the right and perfect experience, and our lives are always unfolding for the highest good. We thank you for your blessings and for prayers being answered, and so it is. Amen. Beautiful. Thank you, Maura. So you can put those letters to God in the offertory with your offering, and they will be collected by the church, held here until November, and sent to you. and you will receive your letter to God in November. Just one more announcement that Maura wanted to let people know, that choir practice has shifted from Thursday nights till Saturday. Anything you want to say
Yeah, we're
about that?
having a little change in choir practice to give some more folks some opportunity to participate. And that's going to be on Saturdays, 4:30 to 6. No experience necessary, anything. Just come with a desire to, rock on over there. And all you have to do, you come to that practice on Saturday to sing on that Sunday. I will teach you everything you need to know that day to be ready for that Sunday. And I'm kind of excited about seeing it really, 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 really expand, because we will read what stays in place after Shipley. So let's start it right now. Sing it, put the songs, it'll feel great, she'll feel great. There you go. So I'll see you next Saturday, right? They'll be wrong. Don't worry. See you then.
All right, thank you, Maura. So this is the time in our service when we receive our tithes and offerings, and when you can also put your letter to God in the basket, if you please. And before we do that, I'd just like to introduce our chaplains, that we do have chaplains that will hold prayer for and with you at the end of every service. If you would just stand and be recognized, please. So after the service, if you've got any prayer or concern on your heart, a celebration, or anything that you want to have prayer with, please see one of these fine souls, and they will hold prayer with you in confidentiality and hold you in the highest light after services. Great. So let's say the blessing of our tithes and offerings together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Helpless, hungry, lonely, afraid, wrapped in the chill of midwinter, comes now among us, and born into poverty's embrace, new life for the world. Who is this who lives with the lowly, sharing their sorrow, knowing their hunger? This is Christ, revealed to the world in the eyes of a child of the poor. Who is the stranger here in our midst, looking for shelter among us? Who is the outcast? Who do we see amid the poor, the children of God? Who is this who lives with the lowly, sharing their sorrow, knowing their hunger? This is Christ, revealed to the world in the eyes of a child of the poor. Who is this who lives with the lowly, sharing their sorrow, knowing their hunger? This is Christ, revealed to the world in the eyes of a child of the poor.
Thank you, Maura. We thank you, sweet Spirit, for the energy and the love that these gifts now bring forth. We thank you that as people give of their hearts and give of their time, their talent, their treasure, the mission and the ministry here at Unity on the River goes forth, furthering the will and the work of you, sweet Spirit. We thank you that this work is now made manifest for the greater good of all. And so it is. Amen. Thank you very much for our ushers, and thank you for the PowerPoint and sound team today and the live streaming. Those of us who are on live streaming today, we welcome you and glad that you've been with us. Thank you for the music team. Board of Trustees, are there any Board of Trustees members here? Kate, want to stand up? Where else? Mark, I saw you, and I didn't introduce myself earlier, but I'm also the board president here at Unity on the River. Oh, John, there you are. So if you have any issues that you want to discuss about the church or any questions that you have, please see one of us board members. So thank you, everyone, for being with us. And I think, Maura, you and Patty have a little bit more music.
We sure do.
All right, let's have it.
To God with Patty Burke.
If I wrote a note to God, I would speak what's in my soul. I'd ask for all the hate to be swept away, for love to overflow. If I wrote a note to God, I pour my heart out on each page. I'd ask for water, wind, and for peace to mend this world. I'd say, strength to make it through. Help us find love, 'cause love is overdue. And it seems like so much is going wrong on this road we're on. If I wrote a note to God, I'd say, please help us find a way. Tenderness in our hearts, I'd pray, I'd say, give us the strength to carry on, help us find love, 'cause love is overdue, and it looks like so much is going on, need some help from you. The faith to carry on, give us hope when it seems all hope is gone, 'cause it seems like so much is going on this road we're on. No, we can do it on our own. So to carry on, give us hope when it seems all hope is gone, 'cause it seems like so much is going on this road we're on. No, we can do it on our own. If I wrote a note to God,
It's going to be a great year. Yeah. Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you'll join me today at 12:15 for the workshop so I get to spend a little bit more time with you. Let's welcome in our youth and family ministries.
We are walking at the light of God. 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 We are walking, walking, we are walking. Oh, we are walking at the light of God. We are walking, walking, we are walking. Oh, we are walking at the light of God. We are walking at the light of God. We are walking at the light of God.
Children are back from snow vacation, Christmas break. They're full of energy today. But we were able to release last year a little bit and come up with a new way of being for the new year. The younger ones, the preschoolers and the unit kids, they created stars. And we put them on a bulletin board with our names for the year, so you can check that out. And the older kids were able to have a white stone ceremony and write a letter to God. Very special. So we try to teach our Unity children the same principles, have the same kind of ceremonies as we have for the adults.
Great.
So we're blessed for our children. I think we have 17 today.
That's great.
Very blessed.
All right. Let's rise and sing our peace song. Who wants to come and pray with me today? Let's rise and sing our peace song. The light of God surrounds us.